Another episode of After Hours with Nia. This week it is just me. Hope y'all are cool with that. I've got a very chill, very natural look today. We're just gonna chill. I just got back from yoga, which I'm really proud of myself for doing that because I went to one yoga session previously, like maybe a year ago at this point, but it was with a friend and it was yin yoga, which yin yoga is very slow paced and it basically forces you to sit with your body and sit with your emotions. And I actually really needed it at that time when I went, which was super like spontaneous. But anyways, this was the first time I went to like a true like yoga one-on-one, like kind of difficult yoga class, and I went completely by myself. And I almost turned around. I'm not gonna lie. I was really like feeling nervous. I was like, what if they judge me, or what if people are mean, or what if it's too hard? And I was sitting in my car outside the place, and I was like, you know what? If you do this, you're gonna make your younger self proud. Because my younger self would have been like, hell no, everyone's gonna be watching me, very self-conscious, which I realize now is really just ego. Like, why are you so concerned what other people think about you? And most of the time, people are more concerned about themselves than you. You know what I mean? But honestly, like, I'm just on a high right now from this yoga, so I'm just gonna keep it going. I think I'm definitely gonna be a yoga babe now. Like, yoga every freaking day. Watch me become a yoga instructor. I see it in my future. So yeah, definitely shout out to Yoga 6. Y'all should go. But I recently just had my 25th birthday on May 17th. And so now I'm officially in my mid-20s, I guess. And I wanted to know what everyone wished that they knew in their early 20s. So I asked my Instagram followers, I asked a couple people in my family, and I really want to share that with you guys. But if you are older than your 20s, that's fine. I really want you to watch this as well, because you might realize that everybody has so much in common. Like the average person, we have so much in common. Not just that, but I think the things you struggle with in your early 20s, you could also be struggling with right now, or just, in a different way. So bear with me, okay? You don't have to be a little baby to watch this. One thing I wish I knew in my early 20s was that, or I guess I wish I knew just to be prepared for it, was that a lot of people were going to be extremely jealous and extremely judgmental towards me just because I was young. Well, I still am young and I still receive that, but I wish I was prepared, because I've always been a very like, I don't want to sound like I'm conceited, but I've always been very like business minded. I've always been really good with people, and I've always really strived for the best no matter what I was working on, like career wise, business wise. Because I just naturally feel inclined to that. And I got so much hate, like, oh, what do you know? Like I started, for instance, life coaching when I was, I think 22, maybe 21. And people would literally say, what do you know? You're only 21. Like, excuse me, I've been homeless, okay? I've seen horrible things happen to people. Horrible things have happened to me. I grew up in a haunted house. Like, I've got any experience you've ever been curious about, I've probably gone through it myself. And it's so funny because now that I'm 25, like, all my crazy experiences have just multiplied. Like, I recently was visiting someone who was, I believe she said she was 77, and I was just talking about some things, and she was like, you've done it all. Like, you've literally done it all. And I think that it's a blessing and a curse. Some people are impressed. They're like, oh, wow, you've done so many things. And other people are like, I feel like it's jealousy, because a lot of people do, like, they're born somewhere and they die there. And there's nothing wrong with that. I want to say that there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. And that's where, like, the jealousy comes from. It's like, I don't know. I'm getting off topic. But I wish I knew that. I also wish that I would never change a thing. First of all, I would never ever change a single moment of my past. Not a single, even something that I might regret, I would never freaking change a single thing. But I do wish that you know what, no, I wouldn't change anything. But I guess if I had to, I would say I wish that I didn't put so much faith in certain people that didn't deserve my faith, didn't deserve my belief in them, and didn't deserve my trust. Because I think that I was so desperate for like love, and I was so desperate to feel like I belonged somewhere, that I would just kind of give my power to people and just let them kind of run my life. And I really regret that. Well, I don't really regret it because it got me to where I am today, but I do wish that more people who maybe resonate with what I'm saying, if you're looking for a place to belong, you're looking for your tribe, or you're looking for, Prince Charming to sweep you off your feet, that like you can do all of that stuff by yourself, and you should always have, your own back and put yourself first, because you give someone all of your faith, you give someone control over you, your life is going to get very messy. But anyways, I would like to share what my followers said, and if I didn't say this already, please comment what you wish you knew in your early 20s, because I want to see more. I want to see more comments. I want to see more feedback on this. So I want to share my dad's response first, because I thought it was really good. He said that he went through a lot, but that everything worked out. And I think that everyone needs to hear that, whether you are in your early 20s or not. Like, you're going through a lot right now, probably everyone is, and it is going to work out. And when you look back, you're probably not going to want to change a single thing about it. And I just saw 555 on the time, so changes. But he said, bad things happen in life, but always stay positive and work harder than everyone else. Save 20% of your money every month for retirement, in a Roth IRA preferably, and to buy a house as soon as you can, but it doesn't have to be your dream home. So definitely buying a house is easier said than done, but I do think that's good advice. It doesn't have to be your dream home. Buy a shit box. Buy something that is totally awful and just do your best with it, because eventually it will be a very good investment and you'll have so much love and money into it. It'll become nice, or you can like rent it, buy another house. There's a lot you can do with that. My aunt said to not worry what other people thought of me and just be proud of who I am. But the most common answer I got when I asked my Instagram followers, what do you wish you knew in your early 20s? Most of them said they wish that they had focused on themselves. Whether that was focused on their career, whether that was focusing on like just focusing on them. Because, people, like, you're looking at somebody else, oh my God, like they're 22, they already bought a house, or oh my God, they're 22 and they graduated college and they are becoming a doctor, or, and I think there's a lot of comparison. Or if you struggled like me, you're so worried about boys or who you're dating, and, you get sidetracked. Somebody said it's okay to take a different path. That's true. And that's another thing too, like, even though I specifically asked for like what you wish you knew in your early 20s, this is like your whole life. Like maybe right now you're 50 and you're doing a job that you hate, but you're scared to like be different from the crowd. Or you feel like, well, I'm already known to be a finance guy. I can't just switch and be a photographer. But yes, you can. It's okay to switch lanes. One of my Reiki students commented that they wish they knew Reiki in their early 20s. So by the way, hit me up, because Reiki changed my life, and I've seen so many other people's lives change with that knowledge of Reiki. Somebody said to not be jealous. Everyone has their own path. Very true. Exercise, but not just for the scale number, but for your mental health. That's a really good one. Like I said, I pretty much did yoga today for the first time, and I feel like it built my confidence. I think it just like built my confidence, and I just feel really good about that. Somebody said they wish they knew how much power that we have to co-create our own realities. Very true and very powerful comment right there, because I think like most of us don't grow up with a parent who tells us that we can create our own reality. Like, yeah, like when you're a baby, they're like, oh yeah, like just dream big and things will work out, or you can be whoever you want to be. But then when you're 18, you can't be whoever you want to be. They're like, no, you got to go to college, you got to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, So what the hell happens? Like, I want to know what that switch is. Because like when you're 6 years old, they're like, oh yeah, you can be an astronaut. Oh yeah, you can be the next Beyonce. But then it's like you're older, like, okay, time to be realistic. Screw you. Like, I think that totally messes up people. Like, don't get me wrong, it is a little bit unrealistic to think that as soon as you turn 18, 19, 20, that you're going to be a pop star or whatever. But it's not completely impossible, especially with the internet these days. I mean, you really could be anything you want to be at any time too. One person commented, spend more time with my kids. That one really hit home for me. It's so sad, that comment. But it's also like, it's never too late. If you feel like you didn't spend enough time with your family when you were younger, it's never too late. You can still do it today. Like, don't just be like, oh, well, it's in the past, nothing I can do, I'll just continue my ways. Like, no, you can change. Someone said how fast the time goes. That is so true. I do feel like as soon as I turned 20, the years after that have gone by so fast. Like, it is scary. To have good routines, that's a big one. Let me see what else I have. Oh yeah, I asked my granny. She's a beautiful Southern belle from Alabama. Well, I think she's from Florida, but she's from Alabama. She said she wishes she had a relationship with Jesus. You know, maybe not everyone's into Jesus, but I will say having a spiritual life is important. Whether you're 20, 30, 50, 100, you're 2 years old, you do need a relationship with God or whatever floats your boat. You want to pray to the earth, you want to pray to a rock, I don't care. But I do think that having spirituality is everything because it gives you a higher purpose. It first of all, it's real, okay? Whatever it is real. And when we know how to work with it, we become stronger, we become more powerful, we're healthier, we make different choices, we move differently, you know. And anybody who doesn't have a belief system that's somehow spiritual, a lot of times they're very miserable people. Or again, later in life, they realize, oh, I was wrong. There is something out there. But I think that, you know, your early 20s is really confusing because you're an adult, but not really. And I know that everyone has grown up differently. I had to grow up really fast, but it's like, you're really still a kid. And I think even when you're 30, you're a kid. When you're 40, you're a kid. It's just about the choices that you made. So, you know, I want everyone to look back on their 20s, their early 20s, and ask, like, what were you doing at that time? Were you happy? Were you successful? Were you failing? Were you miserable? And what things are you still doing to this day that maybe you need to stop doing or make changes to? Like, for instance, in my early 20s, I would not have gone to that yoga thing that I did earlier because I would have been too scared about looking stupid, about not being able to do it, what people thought of me. And I was like, no, like, I'm not going to let basically my ego or my insecurity stop me from doing something that I'm interested in, right? And I'm also not going to give my power to people who don't show me with evidence that they deserve my trust, right? But the thing I love the most, though, was when my dad said that he went through a lot, but everything worked out. Because I think that's just always true. Like, think back to literally any time in your life where you were going through something. Eventually it ended. So when you're faced with a new challenge, know that eventually that challenge is going to end as well, or become easier, or you will become smarter and avoid the future challenge, right? I will say my early 20s have been a whirlwind. I have done every job you could possibly imagine. Started my business at 18, started doing it full time at, I believe, 19 or 20, and then I had just odd jobs here and there. Like, you know, I've done so much, and sometimes it's kind of like I have this realization that that was only the beginning, and it can literally only get better from here. And I'm just really thankful, though, that in my early 20s, or I guess when I was 18, that I did get knocked on my ass, that I did get kicked out of my dad's house, because then I would have never have started the business. Because I always thought that I was going to work in some shop, you know what I mean? But that's where, like, when you go through things, it can put you in a position to create opportunity. But it's about your mindset, because something bad could happen to you and you're like, oh, I'm just screwed, like, that's it. Or you could turn it into an opportunity. Like, okay, I lost my job or whatever. I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I'm just going to start cleaning windows. I'm just going to start mowing people's lawns, you know? Like, you can create opportunity from the struggle, or you can just continue to struggle. But in the end, things will eventually work out. It just depends on how you handle it. It doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, whatever. But yeah, I kind of just wanted this one to be a quick little episode, but I do plan to have a guest. Hopefully next week, or whenever the next episode comes out, next week or the following week, I'll have a guest. You'll have to wait and see who that is. But guys, make sure that you follow me on all my social media pages and check out my website if you want to work with me or send a donation.